Hi, and welcome back to the Save It for Parts channel, where once again we are out here at Sandland, digging secret tunnels deep underneath Wisconsin. I say secret tunnels, but there's really not that much secretive about Sandland. It's just my friend's project where we are digging an underground maze in Jordan's sandstone bedrock, and I've got lots of videos on this if you want to find out more about the project. I have a whole playlist on it, so if you're new to the channel, you can go back and check that out. Also, how cool are these ice formations? The Sandland tunnels are 100% humidity and 50 degrees Fahrenheit year-round, so the warm, moist air coming up into the entrance here has really made this a winter wonderland in our recent polar vortex. This video is sponsored by Uferdin, who sent me their eDog 10 generator, and they asked me to give this a real-world test. And it doesn't get more real world than Sandland. We are doing mining, underground mining. We're using power tools in sandstone bedrock, and it's really cold here. We have the polar vortex coming through. Everything has been frozen across the United States, so the weather is very rugged right now. And I'm a little bit concerned about this because the manual for the eDog 10 says that it's only good down to about 23 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's positive 23. We had negative 23 last week, and it is around 0 today, coming up to a high of about 18, so it's below the technical specifications for the generator. So we're going to try it out anyway, because one of the main points of having a generator is to have emergency power. I will be running all of Sandland's underground infrastructure off this generator today, so the underground digging operations, the lights, the whole deal. Now, in a lot of prior videos, we've been focusing on the Sandbar. And that's my DIY underground speakeasy here that we've been carving out of the sandstone bedrock. But this gets a little bit monotonous. If I just show this every time in every video, well, it all starts to look the same because we're expanding the bar, we're doing other stuff in here. So I want to do a few other things in this particular video, although we might still have some footage from the bar as well. Now, the Sandbar is something of a collaborative booze effort, and it sort of ends up being a little free library for alcohol. People leave stuff, they take stuff, and I never know what's going to be down here. Now, recently, somebody apparently decided to donate some tobacco to the bar, and personally, I don't smoke. I know some people enjoy recreational lung cancer. I don't know why, but yeah, apparently the tobacco here attracted another sort of bar patron who we don't necessarily want, and that is mice, because we now have a mouse nest on the bar made out of tobacco and whatever else this stuff is. Probably whatever the mice could find in the tunnel. There's nobody home right now. Apparently all the mice have now died of lung cancer, but there's this mouse nest made of tobacco, which is... yeah, I don't know. This is kind of why I don't leave organic stuff in the bar, because not only does it mold and rot in the 100% humidity, but critters get in here and they love it. Now, I enjoy my mouse and rat-related decor, but I don't necessarily want real mice and rats in here running around pooping on everything, peeing on top of all the beer. Nobody wants to crack open a cold, refreshing beer and have the top of it coated in mouse pee. So if you happen to be a Sandland patron who's watching this and you've decided to leave something at the bar, booze is fine, but please, let's keep our rodents tobacco-free. Because it's so cold outside, the camera keeps fogging up when I brought it into the 50-degree, 100% humidity tunnels, so everything's going to have a little bit of a soft focus here. And then I'm also noticing a little bit of a flicker from the overhead lights, which might be due to that new generator. All right, we've got the lights working better. I went out and checked on the generator, and the choke was on where I think their on is my off, so it's labeled funny. But anyway, it's running smoother now. The lights are smoother. Speaking of lights, my headlamp has died, so the rest of this video might be kind of dark. Anyway, what I'd like to work on today is expanding the hull tunnel, which is back here. This is the tunnel that goes out to the surface. So you can kind of see the surface world way up there in the spoopy fog. But what I would like to do is turn around and come back over here. And we're expanding this tunnel kind of farther back. We're going to try to reach up with the donut room, which is close to the bar. I know none of these descriptions make sense if you're not familiar with Sandland, but basically this tunnel here, we want to keep moving. So this is the end. This is the current working face. That white thing on the floor is a survey marker. So we basically want to keep expanding this tunnel forward. And I think somewhere in here there's a little Easter egg. There's a little hole in the wall. Oh, there it is. I think that's it. Yep, okay. There's a hole in the wall here that goes... So if you can see me, this goes through into another tunnel that is alongside the Hall tunnel. And if we go back over here and go through Dave's maze, yeah, there's one little tunnel interconnect. And this is all new to me. I haven't been in here for a while. Dave has been really industrious in making more and more tunnels all the time. So, wow, yeah, I've not been in this part, but I think this was the original plan to keep going forward. But then they kind of realized they were going to run into the Hall tunnel, which is down there. That's where I just stuck my camera a minute ago. So this tunnel got abandoned, and Dave is going off to the left now instead and going to loop up. And again, I know a lot of this won't make sense to anyone because it's just a wacky maze of crazy tunnels. And that's kind of what Sandland is supposed to be, is a wacky maze. And if you're into tunnel exploring, if you've been to the Twin Cities, if you've been to Minnesota, you know all about our sandstone, and we have tunnels kind of everywhere. And that's the idea of this, is to be more and better and crazier than what's already available for underground tunnels, and legal, because if you're, running around in caves in the Twin Cities, it's usually not legal. So Sandland is legal. You just have to be willing to volunteer and help dig more tunnels. I just saw another hole here that I'm not familiar with. Wow, I don't know where this goes. Oh, that's total, okay. I don't even know where that goes. That is totally new to me. I'm lost already. I love Sandland. Every time I come down here, there is something new, something crazy. And even for a place I have helped build, even for a place that I am at on a regular basis, I can still get lost. And that's really fun. I like that. I don't know why, but I like that. All right, that's enough of that nonsense. Let's dig some holes. Does liking tunnels make me autistic? The US Secretary of Health might think so, and he's related to some people who were famous 60 years ago, so his opinion matters, I guess. I'm trying to dig more, but now my other little flashlight has died. This is just the single AA battery. This is kind of my EDC everyday carry flashlight, but I've used it too much today, so it's out. And basically, I'm down to my phone now at this point. So aside from my PPE, and that headlamp is out, and my bigger light is out, everything's out. So we might be done digging for the day. So we've done quite a bit of digging in the Hall tunnel. I say quite a bit. I'm sure we didn't actually make that much progress. We probably only made another 6 inches or 8 inches of progress, but I guess that's something. Every little bit counts, right? I'm trying to navigate through the tunnels here without, oh God, I tripped over my tripod. I'm trying to navigate through the tunnels here without killing myself because I can't see where I'm going. All the light is on me now. Anyway, I think we're gonna head back to the bar here. We might do a little bit more digging in the bar, and we might splice in some video that was taken on prior visits to Sandland, because I've done a few trips out here in the last couple weeks. We've done some other digging, and my organizing, my video editing schedule is all out of whack. Everything is very disorganized as usual. In addition to the lights and the power tools, that new generator is also running our ventilation system. So that is bringing in fresh air from outside. And yeah, all of our electrical systems are running off of that one generator now. We also have cell phone service down here in the tunnel, because the generator is also running our cell phone booster system that runs inside the tunnels and has an antenna up at the surface there, and then another antenna down here underground. Sandland is really my only exercise for the week, and I got to thinking, imagine if all the Americans out there who spend their exercise on treadmills or Nordic tracks or Pelletrons or whatever the exercise fad of the week is that's going to be a coat rack next week, if all those people dug tunnels instead, how much cooler would the world be? I guess what I'm saying is, don't be afraid to be weird. Don't be afraid to be different. Dare to do something interesting. Dare to do something that is going to last longer than your lifespan, that is going to leave a lasting legacy, like crazy tunnels, like building something, and maybe it even has some personal benefits, like fitness, like just exploring something, like finding really cool underground crazy mazes and exploring crazy mazes and building crazy mazes. And you know, you don't necessarily have to do that to stay in shape. Oh, got my wagon jammed here. But yeah, instead of spending thousands of dollars on gimmicky exercise equipment, go dig a hole. It's free. As we dig, we keep finding these kind of iron concretions, which I think these are called Moki marbles out west. And here are some in their natural environment, just stuck in the wall. But here's one that's popped out. It's just this spherical ball of iron and stuff. I don't know. I've done a video on these trying to figure out what they are. They're not conductive. They're not magnetic, but they are some kind of iron oxide. And yeah, one of these days we're going to find out these are worth something and we're going to regret just throwing them all away. But for now, they're just, they're just a weird novelty of the tunnels. Working at Sandland always makes me wonder if ancient people who dug confusing, crazy tunnel mazes enjoyed their job. I've heard that a lot of ancient Egyptian tombs were built with highly skilled labor and professional engineers, but did those people enjoy digging crazy tunnels? Did they come home and say, oh, I had to sit through this boring meeting where Pharaoh talked about synergy and the market gap analysis of canopic jars for 6 hours? Or did they come home and say, today I got to build a crazy enough tomb that people in 1,000 years will think aliens did it? And maybe that's what Sandland is all about, convincing people in the year 3000 that some kind of wacky alien cult dug all these tunnels out. I really hope that the bar here confuses some future archaeologists. All right, I think I am done with digging for the day. So, what did I think of the Uferdin EDOG 10 generator? Decent, pretty decent. We dug all day. We got a bunch of tunnels dug. We got lights run. I trusted it enough to run electronics like our cell phone booster. I have to admit I had some reservations at first with this. I was a little turned off by the manual telling me that this was no good below 23 degrees Fahrenheit, but it ran just fine. We had a few issues at first. It stuttered a little at first, but once it broke itself in, once it had warmed up, once it had run for a little while, it ran pretty flawlessly all day long. And we got a lot of digging done. We ran the lights, we ran the cell phone booster. Yeah, I would use this again to dig tunnels. And in fact, I think I'm going to leave it out here at Sandland. This is going to become one of our standard daily use generators for digging our underground tunnel system. Thank you again to Uferdin for sending me the EDOG 10 generator to test out. I will put links to them down in the video description. I will also put a link up here in the corner if you want to check this out for yourself. All right, I know I look the same, but it's actually been about a week. I have the same dirty digging clothes that I throw on for Sandland. Anyway, we have more digging to do, so let's fire up the generator again and get back in the hole. I'm gonna leave my camera in some weird places to get some weird angles today. And I'm hoping I remember to pick up the camera and go home with it at the end of the day and don't just leave it here, because I don't think it would appreciate spending a week in 100% humidity. This week I remembered the good gloves that have super knuckle protection. Last week I forgot them, and yeah, all my knuckles are pretty destroyed. All right, a Wild Dave has appeared, so he's got some more interesting tunnels going on here than just the haul tunnel that I'm working on. So I'm actually going to pivot over to hauling his sand, and we're going to come back to this at some point. Maybe not in this video, but we'll come back to hauling more utility tunnel sand, but I think for the rest of this video, we're going to do Dave's sand. You get pretty beat up doing this. I come home and I'm covered in bruises and dents and scrapes and everything's smashed and my clothes wear out. So it's hard on the equipment, including the human equipment, but I still enjoy it. It's still a lot of fun. You know, my partner goes to, she does martial arts classes. She comes home bruised and dented. I come home from digging holes bruised and dented, and we both have fun with it. I am getting pretty tired down here, even though it's only, well, we don't know what time it is because the phone died. Even with the cell phone booster down here, the phone has died because it is not getting a good enough signal, so it has upped the amperage on the 4G, 5G system. So the phone has run out of power because it's turned up the transmit power. So it could be noon, it could be 5 p.m. I have no concept of time down here in the tunnels. It is tunnel time. It is always the same time underground. It's always hard to know when is a good point to wrap up a Sandland video because we're never done. We're always doing more tunneling. We're always doing more digging. There's always more expansion of the bar, of the hull tunnel, of Dave's stuff. I'll put up an animation here showing the progress made on the hull tunnel over the last few years. These are based on Dave's maps. He's been very good about documenting every advance we have at Sandland, every addition of tunnel from each of his visits. And it really makes for a cool time lapse to show just how things have progressed. I haven't been working on the haulage tunnel or the new utility tunnel that much myself, so most of these tunnel expansions you're seeing in the time lapse map is not my doing. This is from Dave, from Eric, the owner, and from a bunch of other Sandland volunteers who've been spending much more time on the underground infrastructure of Sandland, the hull tunnel, the thing that's going to support other more interesting projects in the future. And it's just really cool that we have such a dedicated group of volunteers who come out and dig tunnels for free for just the fun and excitement of having tunnels. It is really a unique project, and it is really cool to look at the map, look at the evolution of the map, and see just how much progress has happened over the last few years. Thank you to everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time.